And welcome back. You're watching CountyLine Live election returns here. This is August 14th. We hope you went out and voted today, or early voted, or absentee. We know it's been a small turnout, but as we say, those of you that are watching right now, we know that at least 99% of you had to go out and vote. Otherwise, why would you be watching us tonight? I want to welcome some new folks to our table. First of all, the great mayor of the great city of Fort Lauderdale, Jack Seiler. Welcome to you, Mayor.
Frank, great to be here. It seems like this is a tradition to get out here on election night.
It is.
Just wonderful to see you and Phyllis. And Phyllis does a wonderful job behind the scenes. I think you know that.
Well, we do. And the whole staff here at Beacon, as you know, Jack, they work hard setting this up so that all we have to do is come in here and sit down and start talking. By the way, I want to say that all the flags that you might see behind the mayor and our other guests are the different cities that send their flags over. So thank you very much. I hope the Fort Lauderdale flag is here, Mayor. I can't tell right now, but get it over here.
I think it's flying outside the building, so don't worry about it. We're good.
Okay. Hello to our good friend Lisa Massey. Lisa, welcome back.
Thank you, Frank. It's so nice. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, well, you have your program now. You on today, or is it on weekends, I know?
I was on this afternoon from 1 to 2 and also on Saturday.
Oh, great. And that program, you have a good audience because I know you go up and down the Gold Coast. What is the station called, letters?
WWNN.
Okay, and what are the numbers on the dial?
1470 AM.
But you're also on the internet, so people can hear you all over the world.
Yes.
Isn't that great?
It is.
Lisa Massey, we're glad to have you, and we do get your schedule, and you have some wonderful guests on, so I'm sure you have a good audience up there. And welcome back to Richard DiNapoli, the executive director. No, not the executive. You're that's Rico.
Yeah.
You are, what is the title, Richard?
Chairman of the Broward County Republican Party.
Yeah, chairman of the Republican Party in Broward. And welcome back to the table. Richard was here just a little while ago. So anyhow, Mr. Mayor, what does it look like? It seems like another slow turnout day.
Unbelievably light. I mean, I was shocked because when the weather kind of broke this morning, it's just a beautiful day. I thought we'd have this huge turnout. I went to my polling place, walked in there about 7:30, 7:45. They told me I was the 6th voter.
Wow.
And that just really shocked me because I thought with the weather being decent that we'd get a much better turnout. Yeah. I think, you know, right now a lot of people are just kind of waiting on that general election, waiting for November, waiting to see what happens. But, you know, as Lisa knows, as an attorney, these judicial elections are so darn important, and you want people to be out there voting, whether it's Broward or Palm Beach. I know you had a former judge and a current judge, Peter Evans, was up today, and the former Judge Garrison was up, and so you'd expect to see a nice turnout, at least of those people that care about our judicial system, but this didn't seem to happen.
Yeah. Lisa, slow up there in Palm Beach County?
Well, I looked at the numbers compared to 2008 for the primary election for the last presidential year, and it was actually markedly increased for, I think it was about 11,000 voters we had in 2008, and it's up to about over 15,000 now.
Okay.
And in terms of the judges, I mean, it's a primary election, but it's the final election for the judges. And we actually had, this is unprecedented, to my understanding in Palm Beach County, that we have 3 contested races for sitting judges. And Judge Garrison is in a race, but he was a sitting circuit court judge. He retired, and now he's in a race running for the county court seat.
Right. So that's an interesting race for the folks there in Palm Beach County.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course, I hope there's lots of you watching us here tonight on Beacon TV, as well as Dade County. Richard, any further news since we left you a half hour ago?
Just been looking here and looking at the results. Only 34 of 778 precincts are in so far.
Okay.
So you haven't seen many more turnout. 57,000 ballots cast. Those are largely absentees and early. But as I pointed out earlier, it seems like judging, if we keep it the same, like 40 to 45% of the vote is early and absentee, we should actually see a higher turnout than the 08 primary, where there was 108,000 votes cast. Here you had, back then, Republicans cast absentee 5,000 back in 08 primary. This year, 12,791. Democrats cast 12,247 absentees back in 08. Now they're up to 22,859. Now, interestingly, though, the early vote for the Democrats has gone down. It's gone up slightly for the Republicans. So unless more people are voting early and absentee, then it looks like we'll have a higher turnout than we did back in '08.
You talking statewide, or you talking?
We're talking just Broward County.
Okay, yeah.
Just Broward
We're going to
County.
go back to the results right now, so if there's anything you see, as you mentioned, there's only 34 of the precincts
Well,
in.
let me,
but,
let me start with this.
go right
If
ahead.
Fred Lippman hasn't jumped the gun and declared Connie Mack the winner,
hasn't yet.
I am going to do that right
Oh,
now.
okay.
I think Connie Mack wins that Senate primary. I think there is
Yeah, I don't
little
think
or
there's
no
any way for him
chance
to catch
that
up there.
anybody's going to catch him. So I know Fred will be upset when he comes back on that I jumped the gun and beat him to that call.
And it looks like, judging by the results in the Congressional District 23 Republican primary, that Karen Harrington has won that. Judging by the results so far, I don't see a way for anybody to overcome that.
And
so
Richard, that race
congratulations
got a
to
little
her.
nasty, didn't it? I mean, between
Yeah,
the
it's
candidates
definitely-
here, I was surprised by the negative nature or the negative tone that congressional race took. I mean,
Yeah, it became a very spirited primary. Definitely. But congratulations to Karen. It looks like she is definitely the winner in that race tonight. Other primaries on the Republican side, Ellen Bogdanoff. I don't see any way for her opponent to catch up to her, so congratulations to Ellen Bogdanoff.
yeah, you'll see Ellen and Maria Sachs facing off in November, I
Yeah.
think.
And that'll be an interesting race.
That'll
Very
definitely
interesting
be an
race.
interesting one.
You'll have kind of a two-county race and also
Yeah.
two-party race. It'll be an interesting race. It'll both very good public servants. Both have served a long time. I've actually served with both of them in Tallahassee and got a tremendous amount of respect for both of them. So I think that'll be a very interesting election because you've got two very good public servants and two good campaigners.
And Ellen had to change her district or her seat to do that, is that it?
Well, it all
Do
depends
the
who you
redistricting.
talk to.
All
Yeah.
changed,
Oh, it
but-
did.
Yeah,
Okay.
all the districts got redone, and
Okay.
like I said, two good campaigners,
Yeah.
two good candidates. It'll be interesting. This race right here, I think, is fascinating. The Diaz de la Portilla against Manny Diaz Jr. This race also got extremely
Yeah. that got
kind of spirited, to use Richard's term. Some of us might call it a little more than spirited, but these two names that are well known in Dade County politics, and that's going to come down between Manny Diaz and Rainier Diaz de la Portilla. That third candidate's not going to have much impact on that
I remember
race.
we're only seeing the Broward precincts.
Yeah.
So
Because
there's a
those
lot.
districts come up into
Yeah.
Broward, don't they? South
just
Broward?
a few precincts in Southwest
Yeah,
Broward.
yeah.
So
And Rainier's family's been involved forever. You got his brothers have all been very active, so that'll be a very interesting race.
Yeah, that name is getting pretty popular down there.
Yeah. In fact, maybe Richard could pull up on there
Yeah, I'll
the Dade
take a
County
look.
results of that race. It'll be interesting.
state rep.
You've got, I think the race that everybody kind of expects to come down to the wire tonight is that county commission seat.
Yeah.
And that covers parts of Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, Dania Beach. That is
That also got pretty spirited.
three, yeah, it did, but you got three very experienced candidates, all have served, all have, held a public office, and I think all three would be able to do a very good job on that, and so you're really going to see who turns out their base, who turns out their vote.
Give an early congratulations to Sharon Day. Looks like she's going to be our state committee woman again by a 75-25 margin, looks like.
I think Sharon knew that yesterday when she was introducing Mitt Romney down in
Right.
Miami, right? I mean,
So she is definitely in for another term there.
in the United States Center here on the Democratic side, you've got obviously Bill Nelson
Yeah.
with an easy win there. That'll be another one we can certainly call early, whether it's 34 precincts or 3 precincts.
Yeah.
I think Bill Nelson will be facing off against Connie Mack in November. And again, two well-recognized names
Yeah.
in Florida politics. And Bill Nelson's a guy I've worked with a number of times over the years. Wonderful guy.
Now, this is an interesting race. Look how close that is with
Yeah.
Lois Frankel and Kristen Jacobs.
That's also just the Broward part. So
Yeah.
what's
At least
interesting
it'll
is
be
that
interesting to
Frankel's
see
doing
what
better
happened
than
in Palm Beach County there.
Yeah.
Right, because Frankel would be,
Frankel's a Palm Beach native
Yeah,
beating
right.
Kristen Jacobs.
But
Yeah.
many of
In
the
our own county.
endorsements, I think the Palm Beach Post and the Voters Coalition of Palm Beach County both endorsed Kristen Jacobs over
then
Yeah,
the
they
Lois
did the
Frankel.
reverse.
And then the reverse happened here
Yeah,
in Broward.
for the
Yeah.
Broward paper.
I actually think there, though, that if
Interesting.
Lois wins Broward, she's going to end up winning that seat, because I think the thought was that Kristen had to win Broward, pick up enough votes in Palm Beach, and if Lois ends up winning Broward, I don't know if Kristen can make that up.
It looks like
Frederica
Frederica Wilson's definitely in for another term
Yeah,
there.
she'll be fine there. Then I hope our state attorney, Mike Satz, is doing well here. He's done a fabulous job over almost 4 decades of public service, has really served Broward County well, an impeccable reputation, and it looks like the voters recognize that by the early turnout here. Looks like he's got a comfortable margin with the 34 precincts reporting.
I see the Miami Herald endorsed Mr. Roque as opposed to Mike Satz.
No, that was
Opposed
against
to
Dale
Dale
Ross.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
We got
yeah.
those coming
Well,
up
I
soon,
know.
though. Those
Yeah,
are
you're
pretty
right.
interesting, though.
Did they?
They did, but then
I'm
the
sorry, I
Sun Sentinel,
misspoke there.
Sun Sentinel endorsed
Ross.
Ross, and
Oh,
actually
okay.
Mike Ahern, who was just on your panel.
Yeah.
Mike worked very hard on the Dale Ross campaign, did
Yeah.
a very good job of getting the vote out, making sure that Dale got his message out. And so I know Mike was very involved in that.
Yeah.
Looks like
This one's
Katie
interesting,
Edwards,
yeah.
Katie Edwards, she's listening to Mayor Jack Seiler of Fort Lauderdale. We have Lisa Massey here from the great program that she has on radio. What's the name of that
The
program?
Justice Hour.
Justice Hour, and also the chair of the Republican Party here in Broward County, Richard DiNapoli. So they're being our experts right now. Go ahead, JJ. Coming back to us, JJ is now our director. Everybody gets a time off except the host here. I don't mind that, yeah. Oh, you're the audio guy? But you're serving as the temporary director, right, JJ? Who is it? Oh, Pedro. Oh, hi, Pedro. You sounded like JJ, and I wasn't sure. Okay, hi, Pedro. Good to have you there running the show right now.
That school board it
Yeah.
would be interesting here. This race.
Looks like Katie Leach is going to take it in the
Yeah,
primary.
I think Katie will, and Katie has done an excellent job. She stepped in at that in that school board seat and really, I think, brought some fiscal responsibility to the position. Has done a
We're not
Thank you very
satisfied.
much.
They just did it.
that.
Did they do it?
They
Wow.
did.
Wow, there you go. Well, evidently he was ready to go there because, our
I think
budget
he was
is,
listening to the
hey,
mayor.
I think
Right.
Lisa
Yeah.
asked for it. They did.
our
think,
budget
yeah.
is so small, you could, as the fellow said, the check is so small you could cash it on the bus, This is a non-profit educational channel here. We're not NBC, but we do have the opportunity to do this. See, the other network stations can't do this locally. We're the only people in all of South Florida that are bringing local election returns
Live,
live
right.
like this on television and now through the internet. So
And
we're
Richard,
very
I'd be
proud of
interested to
that.
get your viewpoints on if George Lemieux was still in that race. What would have happened there?
Lisa Massey and Richard DiNapoli, and so far it's going good. A lot of precincts to go yet, many, so there's no races. You called maybe one so far, have you?
I've called two.
Two?
I've
Connie Mack?
I called Connie Mack in the Republican Senate primary and Bill Nelson in the
Okay.
Democratic
Good,
Senate
good,
primary, and I think Richard called Ellen Bogdanoff. in
I
the-
think those are safe.
Ellen
Yeah,
Bogdanoff,
I think we can all agree on
Those are
three.
safe
Yeah.
calls.
Karen Harrington in the Congressional 23. Let's see. On the statewide numbers, it looks like Carlos Trujillo in District 105 is leading, although I don't know how many
Yeah.
precincts are in.
All right, we're going to play musical chairs again. Richard DiNapoli, you're in that revolving chair there. So
All right.
we've got another guest waiting. We're going to put in your place. Robert will come over in a minute and remove your microphone and physically take you out of the room for a while.
Thank you.
Dino's the one that's got to physically take you out of the room,
But
but
stay
Robert
with
will
us.
ask you to leave politely.
Stay with us, Richard,
I'll
because
get
you're...
some of that great food, free commercial for Scudos,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah, from
Yeah,
Scudos,
it's really
thank you.
good, yeah.
And your counterpart hasn't showed up yet, of course. Tell him the polls have closed. He can't go looking for votes. It's too late, Mitch. So come on by.
I'll go check those numbers later while I'm away.
Good.
But it's good
And
being here with the mayor and Lisa.
it's good to have you and stay with us. We're gonna, as I say, change guests here. We have another guest waiting to come on and a few more in the green room. So I'm happy to have so many of our friends showing up tonight. It's just great. It's wonderful to have this opportunity, Mayor, to deliver this kind of a program to not only to Broward County, but it goes up to Lisa's playground up there in Palm Beach County, and all the way down to Dade County. So,
I think it's a great public service. But what what it also does is it reminds people that they need to get involved. They need to vote. We were talking about this morning at the polls. How do you complain if you're not showing up to vote? How do you have a gripe if you don't take the time to go to that poll and vote? And I think a show like this reminds people that they need to get out, they need to vote. They can make a difference, especially when you have a lower turnout. Every vote counts.
The entire election's being determined by 10% of all the voters total. So when they say every vote counts in these primaries, it's even more so.
we have a new guest at the table, Carlos Rios. Welcome, Carlos.
Hi, Frank. Pleasure to be here with you this evening. And Lisa and Mayor, how are you?
Good to see you.
Carlos is an attorney here in Broward County. He's also a campaign strategist. Talk a little bit about today's turnout. I was a little pessimistic, but now I find out that actually the numbers are a little better than 2008 primary. So had you heard that too, Carlos?
Well, honestly, it's really tough at this juncture to determine what the numbers are going to look like. Being out there on the ground, if you will, on the front lines, the interesting thing is that it reminds you how folks forget how important this is, the kind of movement you would want to have seen.
Go ahead, Lisa.
I think I could agree that there needs to be more of a focus in high school to show the teenagers how relevant the voting is to their life, because I don't think they realize it. And we see about how they all know about who's on American Idol, but they can't tell you any of their representatives in the county or even the state. And most of these of our youth in the state, and I'm sure across the country, they can't even tell you who the governor of the state is. It's pretty frightening.
Lou Fry and Bob Graham. Lou Fry, a Republican congressman from up in the Orlando area, and Bob Graham, obviously a longtime Democratic senator and governor, had an initiative back about 5-6 years ago on a civics program in the schools. And they actually came to the legislature, and in a bipartisan manner, they said, look, whether you're a Democrat or Republican or whatever your party affiliation, we need to start teaching civics in the schools. We need to start pushing civics in the schools. And, we worked with Lou Fry and Bob Graham, and both great public servants. And that never got
took hold.
It never took hold. And it was really a shame, because when you can bring together two leaders, from both sides of the aisle and say, look, we're all in agreement. We need to get that next generation involved in civics. We need to get that next generation caring about the future of government and the government that we have. And it just never quite got hold. And I hope that other leaders from both parties step up and continue to push that.
We had, I interviewed a couple of years ago, and he was Chief Justice here in Florida, Fred Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
And he started talking to me about that. He had a bunch of attorneys and lawyers going into the schoolrooms teaching civics from their point of view, all, pro bono. And I thought that was great. So even, it wasn't only Senator Graham and Lou Fry, but even the Chief Justice, Fred Lewis, was trying to move that. So there's a movement going on there, Mayor. I hope it continues. It happens in the classroom, doesn't it? That's where it happens. And at home, of course. Lisa,
I
at home?
took part in that, the justice teaching, and Justice Lewis started it, and it's still continuing to this day.
Oh, okay, good. That's good. Carlos, we play musical chairs here.
Absolutely.
And so you're in the chair that's musical tonight.
Well,
and so if you want to sing a song, you can do that too.
Sure, I'd be happy to sing a song.
But
he can sing.
but let's welcome another guest to the table, and he's my good friend, Rico Petroselli. He's the executive director of the Republican Party here in Broward. And welcome, Rico.
Thanks, Frank. Always a pleasure to see. I could say an old friend, right?
An old friend is right.
40-something years.
How's Camille and the family?
Camille's fine.
All the children, grandchildren?
Probably could wave to her right now. I
Well,
told her
good,
to
good.
watch.
Well,
Mayor,
hi,
good
Camille.
to see you. Lisa, good to see you
Great
too
to see
again.
you.
Thanks for
We
having
like
us.
to use the term mature friend.
Oh, okay, all right, we'll put that in the dictionary.
Well,
That's good.
first of all, I asked Richard this. How do you feel about having Paul Ryan on the national ticket with Romney?
You know what, Frank, I got to tell you the excitement from the phone calls
Okay.
that we get at the headquarters. The people are excited. They really are, you know, and they're ready to go the next 80-something days full steam ahead.
You know that Paul Ryan's mother lives here part of the year in Lauderdale by the Sea.
Yes, we do.
Have you
We've-
met her yet?
No, but we did have a couple of phone calls national to say,
know
hey,
it.
you know, do you know where could you get in there, you know, that kind of stuff. And that's the exciting part, you know. It's
Yeah.
bringing a group of people together for a common cause.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, great. Now, about today's turnout, we've been not debating it, but discussing the turnout, whether it's slow, whether it's bigger than 2008. What is your
Well, you know,
take on it?
I got the reports today, not only from Fred Bellis and the supervisor of elections, but our people that are down on the ground. And the mayor was right there. If people see a long line, they'll say, what's going up? Hey, I forgot to vote. There was nothing other than the people who were voting. The 99.1% of the people watching us have voted today because they want to see the results. It's the other people that we're concerned about, that 80% of the people that aren't voting, you know, if we're looking at 10,
Yeah.
I'll even give you 20%.
Yeah.
Come on, that's sad.
Yeah.
And I think Carlos said it. You know, you go to a Mideast or you go to a country that they love to vote, they die for it,
Yeah.
and then you have it here and people just pass by.
I guess we've got it too easy here in this country, Mayor and Lisa, that you know, we don't take advantage of you know, all our freedoms.
No, it's true. I mean, it's extremely frustrating, especially like Elise was saying, you talk with the kids, I think in the grade school and middle school and the junior high, and they seem to really be involved, and then as they proceed into high school, they seem to drop off a little bit, and then they get to college not realizing that in 3-4 years, every decision that is made by the elected officials are going to have a tremendous impact on them. But in college, they're just more
Right,
concerned
right.
about that Friday night social event or that Saturday football game,
Yeah.
and they're not focused on, you
And-
know, I think more people are talking about the upcoming seasons at Florida, Florida State, and Miami than they are about the elections.
And here in Florida, look how affected the college students have been from the recent legislation. We have the Florida prepaid tuition and the huge increases in the college tuition, and that certainly affects them for the ones that who don't have their parents fully paying the bill and paying for everything. So, and I don't think they realize that that is coming from legislation from who they elected and who they could have gone to the polls to voted for.
You're right about that. My son, you know, Dominic is on Bright Futures, and it started out as a freshman at Broward, and he spent 2 years there, but the money changed each and every year, and it went down. So you're correct. You know, they say, that's legislature. Those people are the people that take money out of your pocket, and the local levels.
You got some of them on the ballot today.
No doubt.
You're talking about these legislators,
You
but
know,
they're on the ballot today.
The people really are just, it's a lack of knowledge, you know what I mean? And I can understand it with the judge races, but when you get into an actual race where that person is representing you, whether it's a state rep or a county or something like that, and you're voting like this, that's sad. That's sad.
I'm going to ask Pedro to put the results up again, and they're able to go back and forth, Mayor. That's a new thing we're able to do this time, too. At one time, once that scroll started, baby,
Right.
that was it. Now we can go